Hi, my name is Nikita Vladimirov and I represent the company Supercom. We are the fund and the publisher, funding and publishing PC and console premium games. I've been doing business development in video games for nearly 20 years and enjoyed it every moment of it. But what's not to enjoy? You have to travel to wonderful places, you have to meet new people and the old friends and party. And also it's a little bit like a video game. So every conference is like the open world. You have to roam around, you have to find the NPCs with the magic phrase, let me take you to the specific person. So it's a bit like a game. And it's a lot about your ingenuity, about your ability to communicate, because of course, you can schedule a lot of meetings. Of course, you can meet the people pre-arranged, but you also can come to the booth, to the publisher, you can show your game, or you can come to the developer passing by and seeing the game on the screen and says, hey, that's a wonderful game. Let's talk. What are you looking for? How we can help each other? And unfortunately, COVID robbed us of the pleasure of discovery, of this thrill of hunt. And it's got replaced by quite boring and meticulous work. And if you think that it got difficult for the developers, I must tell you that it got way more difficult for the publishers, because industry right now is in its golden age. The availability of tools, the availability of ways to sell the game, the availability for the information for the people who would like to become a game developers is as high as ever. And every day, more and more developers appear, and it's virtually impossible to know each and everybody. So in my speech, I wanted to give you a slight view how publisher try to find a new games and try to find a developer. So when you know how the publisher thinks, you can adjust what you're doing, do it slightly differently, and increase your chances on signing a good deal. So, of course, the business development is, as any profession, require a lot of dedication. It requires a lot of time, and you have to be respectful to it. Usually, in the small and medium-sized studios, there is no dedicated person. Everybody are doing the game, first of all, and foremost, and the business development tasks lie on the shoulders of founders. And usually the founders are the game designers, artists, or developers. So for them, it's not their core expertise. And being a business developer, it's not only being a very nice guy who can easily befriend new people. It's about slight legal education. You need to know how to read contracts. You need to know how to negotiate contracts. You need to be very familiar with numbers, because every day the financial schemes, how the projects are financing, are getting more and more complicated and more difficult. So one of the ways I suggest you do it, it's just simply outsource it. So the agents on the market currently is one of the best sources for the publishers of the new projects, because agents are working with the developers. They help them to prepare the materials. They know already people on the market, such as publisher, whom to go, where to go, how to present things. So outsourcing this job to an agent, it works miracles, especially in our days of limited conversations. And most of the time, agents do not work on a retainer. They work on a percentage from a closed deal. So for you as for developer, they virtually cost nothing, because anticipating the cost of the agent involvement allows you to take these costs and hide them in your development budget. So it's a very good deal. It's one of the best ways for the developer to find a good deal, to introduce themselves to a publisher. But there is always a but. There are very few good professional agents, and there are too many developers on the market. So you also have to be interested to the agent. You have to be professional. You have to be willing to change the ways you do things. You have to be willing to listen. and convince the agent that your game is worth investing time and effort into it. So agents is number one. I would highly recommend you to get an agent, but if in some case you decided that you need to go by yourself, there are still quite a lot of ways how you can meet a publisher and when the publishers are looking for the new titles. And the biggest one right now is an online events. They're here to stay. They're very efficient. It's a good way to have 25 to 30 meetings in a couple of days, and usually those meetings are very focused and down to the point. But you have to start with filling the information about what you're looking for and who you are on your profile page. I'm sorry if it sounds banal, but so many developers are not doing it properly or just simply ignoring it. Just imagine how the publisher feels when they have to go through the list of 500-600 developers on a good event and try to figure out what 20 or 30 those developers will be a good match. So creating a good page, filling all the requested information, and most importantly, describing what they're looking for. That's absolutely crucial. And adding Google Drive or similar with the materials, it also helps a lot when you add it into the description of your team and description of your project. It has to include the business pitch, it has to include game pitch, some videos. That not only helps the publisher to identify which team they should meet with, but also leaves more time on the meeting themselves, on the meeting itself, to talk about important things and not waste time on the introduction of the project or the team. And having all these materials on the Google Drive or similar helps further, because in most cases, the business development people from the publisher, after they had the meeting, they take the materials, they request the materials from you, and then they pass these materials to the scoring department. So you will have to present those materials anyway. And I know that on every conference, and this conference in particular, will be a special speeches on how to do pitches and how to sell your game. And I'll just quickly repeat that the materials you have to present to publisher include the business pitch, where you describe your game, but from the position on the market, what niche it's going to occupy, who are main inspiration, what are the main competitors on the market, so how many copies you expect to sell, the company and team presentation to make sure that the publisher understands level of your expertise and your core team talents, game development schedule with a milestone breakdown, game budget with a milestone breakdown, GDD or similar, and playable demo and gameplay video. It's very important that you have these materials before the meeting ready. So when the meeting happened, when you chatted with a business development person from the publisher side, usually when these documents are requested, if you can send them right away, shows your professionalism and shows your willingness to sign a deal. Unfortunately, some of the developers are using online events sort of to get a feel from publisher and investors about their project. They have no budget, they have no development schedule, they have a rough game idea and a few pitches, and that leaves a feeling of wasted time, really, because there are so many ways you can get the feedback about your idea without entering the conferences and occupying time of the publisher. And then at the end of the day, when someone is showing you the game, which is currently on the stage of a couple of slides without any details, without any numbers, and facing the questions, what do you think? There is nothing really you can tell. There is no, you can be only polite and encouraging, but you cannot give any professional feedback because there are simply not enough materials. During the meeting, again, present yourself professional, calm, and try to create an image of a responsible partner. And once again, I want to add that if you do not have an answer to the questions, what are you looking for exactly? It means that you are not ready for the meeting. Put it on your first page where you make a description of your company. So are you looking for a publisher partner? Are you looking for a funding partner? Are you looking for equity investment? What amounts are you looking for? This is all shows that you are ready to continue the discussion and not in a free form, which can take a few months, but you know exactly what you want, and you can sign a deal in a short period of time. Also, very good practice is to envision how your discussion with a publisher would go. The publisher asks a number of questions, and you obviously can't foresee them yourself, and you have to be extremely and brutally honest. The questions would be, just as an example, I can give you a few, is according to the last year Steam statistics, the average game generates revenue of $15,000 and sells around 6,000 copies. So what in your game, what in your project makes you think that you can sell more? What do you need from the publisher to sell more? What's your team expertise? What's your team lacks in expertise? And if you can answer those questions before, then you can answer those questions when you'll face them talking to a publisher. And again, I cannot stress it enough. The first question you should be asking, what are you looking for exactly? So if it's all done, then the meeting will be short, it will be on point. If you follow it up within a day or two, or on the same day with the materials for the scoring department, it all shows that you are a good company to work with, you robust, you quick in response, and it's all increase your chances to signing up the deal. Right now, it's autumn and winter break. There will be not so many online events, but it doesn't mean that the business development work should stop. There are still many ways to find a proper people and talk to the publisher, pitching your game and trying to get the publishing partner or the funding. One of the simplest ways to do it, it's business networks such as LinkedIn. If you did your homework, you probably know what kind of publisher would be the best fit portfolio-wise for your game. And using the networks like LinkedIn, you can always find the people who are making a decision and get in contact with them. One of the advices, do not aim very high. If you see the person with the title like head of publishing division or head of business developer, those people are more involved in strategic decisions rather than working day-to-day with the developers, and they might not be the best contact for you, especially to start negotiations and start the discussion. You better aim slightly lower to the simple business development managers. It's their job to create a network of developers, keep it up to date, and talk to them. Making a request for contact, very important to add a note. There are so many people who are just trying to connect without any information on who you are and what they're looking for, that in most cases are simply ignored. I'm on a regular day getting about 50 to 60 invitations from the new people per month. And most of people I don't know. And if I don't have any information on what those people are, what they're looking for, I'm in most cases just ignoring it. But rather than that, again, be polite, be professional, and be direct. It's all saves time and shows you that's what you are looking for. If you cannot connect to the people directly, or you want to find someone who has a shared contact, that's absolutely okay. I am, as many other professionals in the industry, are willing to help because we're all friendly. We all trying to help each other. But please focus your questions. So, for example, the question, can you please introduce me to someone at Sega UK? The question sounds way better than please find me a publisher, or do you know anybody who would like to see my game? So please do your homework, do your market research, and then the industry is small. You will identify the people you need to connect with fairly quickly. But before even getting to online space, before trying to reach for people, you have to create the online presence. In the COVID times, it's absolutely crucial, and that's how any publisher research starts. Every time I'm getting a request to meet, or I'm researching a list of developers, I do my homework. So the first thing I ask is Google. Hey, Google, please tell me who are those guys? And the site is a good start. It's a clean, professional company site or a team site is a good start. It has to show your team, the core members, their expertise, and your portfolio. And even if it's your first game and you don't have a portfolio yet, please don't be shy, because the way the site is done and the way your team is presented makes a huge difference how you would be seen. Will you be seen as a group of students or industry professionals? Present the people you want to be contacted and display their contact info with the links to the LinkedIn or any other social media accounts you use. And on LinkedIn, again, do the good page of your studio and update all the profiles of your core team members. Don't think about it as a double work, because you will have to present the team portfolio to the publisher as a part of the material submission anyway. So it's not even a double work. Start from there, clean up your LinkedIn profiles, make it informative, and then just export them into a separate presentation. Based on that, any publisher can easily find more information about you, about your team, and make a decision. Do they want to meet with you? Do they want to discuss business? And it's not always about one game. Even if your game is something which does not fit the publisher portfolio at this very moment, if your site and if your team profile is informative enough, then any business development officer will think beyond one game. If the team is good, how we can communicate? Can we do something else? Can we do co-development? Can we do porting work? Can I use this team for something else? So it's the site and your LinkedIn profiles, they goes beyond any particular BD. Another thing is the social media presence, and it's essentially the community management and community creation. And publishers, as any other human beings, and the players, they're part of your community. So creating a game is a wonderful journey, and any journey is much more interesting when you have friends and company. So you should start building your online presence in the social networks and create your community from the first moment of inception of the idea. Even if you just have a team and you don't have anything to share at this very moment, you still need to get and create a good page on a Facebook, YouTube channel, Twitter account, Instagram, Discord server, and many other things I don't know, probably because I'm a little bit old and there are so many channels appear every day. Reddit is another one good example. And on all these platforms, you can create a huge amount of news and reasons to communicate with your audience. It can be developer blogs, it can be team member interviews, it can be sharing and discussing the game art, the characters, the parts of the story. And it's not only gives you the feedback from the audience, but it's a very powerful recruiting tool and the marketing tool. And it might seem premature to brag about your game when you don't have it yet, but again, think of it as a journey, and people who are journeying you on all these channels and discussing and giving you feedback about the art. It's the people who are cheering for you and willing to give their feedback on everything you do. Just as an example, a very good friend of mine, he designed a board game in a medieval setting. And as a part of his Facebook activities, he started to redraw the popular memes in a medieval setting. And it just blew up. It started to live by itself. He created a new trend, but he also introduced thousands and thousands of people who joined his Facebook page, who joined Instagram, and essentially contributed to the sale of the game. So be creative, be innovative, and your presence online, it also creates impressions. It also pops up on search in Google. So this is something you should do from the very beginning, and it will definitely gonna score some additional points for any publisher who will do research on you. Befriend some of the streamers or media persons or journalists, make them feel like a part of a team, like a part of the development studio, provide them with some exclusive materials. And in exchange, you not only will learn how to create the video content and how to do the community management on YouTube and Twitch, but you also will learn a lot about marketing in general. So this is also something what not so many people are doing, and please pay good attention to it. Another channel of a publisher to get the information about new games is a Steam page. Every publisher is doing their research on looking through freshly published pages on Steam. So every time you create a page, create it knowing that it will be looked by the publisher almost immediately. And working with the page, don't be shy to release teaser versions, demo versions. I'm not even talking about the early access, but every version which is not yet production ready or sale ready, it's still something which definitely going to be noticed by the publisher and increase your chances of being approached and offered a good deal. And the last part is local events, which are still here. Not so many people can gather together. There is not like events for 50 or 60 people, but still the local events are here. 15, 20 people are getting together regularly, exchange ideas, talk about what they're doing. And the publishers are always keeping a track of those events. And if those events are nearby, they definitely try to visit them. So don't ignore them, but wear your mask, be cautious. But still, this is what remains. If we don't have a large conferences right now, since we have online, try to substitute them with the local events at least. So by following this simple rules, and hopefully my advices will work, you tremendously increase your chances to be recognized, to be noticed, and not only get a meeting, but get a good deal. So hopefully that would help. I would be happy to answer all of your questions, and thank you very much for your time.
Hello, Nikita. Great to have you live.
Hello. Yeah, good to be here.
People don't know this, but in the background we're trying to solve all sorts of technical issues. But in the end, it's good that we managed to connect. So thanks for being here. A couple of questions for you. So I'm really glad that you mentioned agents in your lecture. So I think this is something that becomes more and more common today, although maybe just a few 2 or 3 years ago it was something that was not at all discussed, even though agents were there. Do you feel the same way that agents are becoming a more popular choice even for independent developers? Do you see a trend here?
The trend is that there are more and more developers coming to the stage. Right now, with availability of tools and availability of stores, to be a self-publishing developer is easier than ever. However, as I mentioned in my speech, being a business development professional, it's the same as being professional in any other field. And it's very rare when the team of developers has a business development person in-house, like on the payroll. So it's more and more common right now. It's easier to just outsource this expertise to an agent. So that's why the agents right now are more important than ever.
All right. So, and we have a follow-up question. Are there agents that you recommend?
Oh, absolutely, but it would be unfair for me to drop names here. Unfair to other agents because the list is big, but I would be very happy to forward in any private conversation to the guys I think would fit you the best.
Great. So, Indies, reach out to Nikita to get recommendations on agents and other things. And one other question. So how much does the team and how much does the pitch counts when trying to talk to a publisher? So how so you're pitching something. To what extent is it the game or the team that matters?
It's a combination of the game and the team, because every publisher not only looks what they've got, but where they can get together with the team. Every publisher has inside expertise in game design, in production, in business and marketing. And when they see a game, when they see a pitch, they first of all see the rough diamond. And so together, after some time, they see, can they take it to the next level? Can they apply the expertise they have in-house to work with the developer? And that's important not only to have a game you can work on, but also a great team who is responsive, who is professional, who understands what they're missing and what we're lacking. And together, it's always a better result than by ourselves.
Awesome. So I think that's it for now. Nikita, thanks for dropping in live and for your words. So please feel free to stick around on Discord, and I'll see you later in the panel today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here, and everybody good luck and stay safe. Bye.
Thank you. You too.